up, guys? It's John Muscarella from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am a full-time Amazon and eBay seller. I sell mainly books and used media. And today's video, I am going to answer a question from one of my Instagram followers who sent me a DM. The basis of the question, I don't have it in front of me, was when did you know you need to get a warehouse? And what did you go from just kind of storage unit to in your house to full-time warehouse? And I'm going to answer that question for them today. And I'm going to kind of do it in a couple different parts. So first, I'm going to kind of go over what to think about when getting a warehouse and when to start considering it, when I decided to get a warehouse, and kind of why I got one. And if I'm looking over here, I have some notes that I wrote down so I don't forget anything and don't really go on too many crazy rants. Before you get started, if you could like this video, I would greatly appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel. It would be awesome. So, number one reason when you should get a warehouse, and I think this is a big mistake that a lot of people make, it should be when you can afford one. And that's just not rent. You have to keep in consideration rent, electric, internet, equipment, tables, carts. I mean, think about it. When you get a warehouse, what are you going to do with the space, right? You're going to need tables to work on. You're going to need, if you're doing books, you're going to want to get like a tilter. You're probably going to want to get a forklift so you can unload trucks. So that's a lot of additional expense. You just can't be thinking like, oh, the rent's only $2,000 a month. No, like you're going to have an extra probably $500 expenses between garbage, internet, maybe you have a water bill, electricity. The stuff kind of adds up. You also have to think about, you know, employees. Like, are you going to have employees? Like, you got all this space and you're going to double and triple your business, but you're not going to do it by yourself. So you got to kind of think about stuff like that. So the simple answer, kind of part one of this, is when you can afford it. Like, and I will go the last part, or one of the last parts, I will go over how many sales I was doing, in sales I was doing before I decided to get one, and again, why. So bottom line, when you could afford it, I would not get a warehouse thinking, oh, if I could get double or do double what I'm doing, I'll be able to cover it. You should be able to cover your warehouse rent and the stuff you're going to need to buy to put in it before you even start looking for a warehouse. Because what you don't want to do is get a space that's too big, too expensive, and then you are so behind, then you start stressing out and making bad decisions. You want to be ready to go and be ready to be successful. Number two, when you're starting to churn down opportunities. So there will come a time where in your business, so for example, for me, I was working out 2 10 by 30 storage units. A lot of people were calling me to do free book pickups, or there was a school that canceled their book sale and they wanted me to come get their books. And I did do the school one, and it was a nightmare. With 2 storage units, it is just not feasible. So when you're working in storage units, you have to be basically as efficient as possible. Basically, I would have 10 Gaylords. I would be processing 10 to 12 at a time in one unit. In the other unit, it would be kind of like overflow to storage. I would do some like media scanning in there. I'd keep book sets in there for eBay. Some extra Gaylords, maybe sell back your book stuff. This way I could make call and like have them pick up 3. So in my mind, I knew that I am turning down a lot of opportunity. People would call me, be like, hey, we want to drop off books. And it just didn't work, because even if I could get them, I would just accumulate Gaylords of duds, and I could only get 9 picked up at a time. And I didn't have anywhere to store them, so I couldn't do it. And also logistical issues. So another reason for that, you know, you are trying to get freight. I was very lucky. My storage unit actually had a huge turnaround for tractor trailers to come in. A lot of places don't, so the tractor trailer is kind of reluctant to go in because it's going to have trouble getting out. So yeah, I would say that. The third thing I would say is efficiency. So if you're going to get a warehouse, you're going to want to be you need more space to be more efficient. So scanning gaylords of books in a storage unit or garage, while it's great, it's really not that efficient. Uh, it was taking me around 2.5 hours to do a gaylord of books, one gaylord. Now, when I moved into the warehouse, it takes a little less than an hour. So think about that. Almost more than half the time, almost triple the time, right? So more than half the time, it's taking less. So just think about how many more gaylords I'm getting done, right? In the same amount of time working in the storage unit, I could get twice as much done in the warehouse. So what drove that efficiency? It's having, a tilter that I could put the pallet of books on, it dumps it on a dumper table. Being able to work at a dumper table, using software on my computer instead of using my phone, Scout IQ on my phone. Scout IQ is awesome, so shout out to Caleb Roth. But it's not as efficient as running it off of a computer. What else? It's also, you run into a lot of weather issues that make it less efficient. So if you're working at a storage unit, garage, if you're having pallets picked up, duds picked up, really can't do it in the rain if you're doing books, because whoever's taking those books, they don't want wet books. And if you're getting delivery, you don't want those books to get wet. There were a couple of times where I got a delivery, it rained. It was a nightmare. We were putting flat Home Depot boxes over, try to prevent the books from getting wet. It was just not good. So that's another reason. So the top 3 reasons when you should kind of know you're ready: when you could afford the rent, everything that goes with the rent. Also remember, now that I think about this, you are probably going to have to give at least 2 to 3 months security deposit on your rent. So think about that. If you are going to spend $2,000 on rent, you're going to need to give the landlord up front $4,000 to $6,000. Just as a security deposit, you will get that back if you take care of the space, but also keep that in mind. Number 2, when you're turning down opportunity, when you know you could process more books, buy more items, or save more stuff to flip later, need more space, that is a tall tale 1. And number 3, efficiency. When you know if you get this warehouse, you're going to be much more efficient. Time to do things will be cut in half, or even more than that, because maybe you'll have staff as well. But I'm going to harp on this. The number 1 driver is when you can afford it, and everything else that you're going to need with it. So when did I decide to get a warehouse? So my sales on all platforms were anywhere from consistently 15K to 20K. I sell on Amazon, eBay, and then I do a lot of buyback. I use buyback companies for books. I also sold a lot of media and DVDs, duds on other marketplaces. I sold on Facebook Marketplace a little bit. So I was cumulatively doing about 20K. Some of that is straight profit. Like if you get duds picked up and you get money for that, that is awesome, because there's no fees on that, because it's all local and there's no platform to take anything. So yeah, about anywhere from 18 to 20K. Now that really depends on your area. Maybe, someone was just here and they were saying that the rents where they are probably double or triple what I am paying. So again, it just really depends on your area, what your margin is on your product. So yeah, that's when I decided to get a warehouse. I was doing about 20K. Again, there were some seasonal. When you sell books, you have textbook season. Q4 is usually good as well. So yeah, that was kind of when I decided to get one. And then the main driver why I decided to get one is I knew if I had one, it would definitely be more efficient, number 1. Having equipment, a tilter, a dumping table, room to work, space. Like I said, it cut the scanning time of a Gaylord in half. I was able to work with an additional buyback vendor who is awesome, and we're starting to really do a lot of business with them. I also could sell stuff by the Gaylord. I have a forklift, so I could get bigger deliveries. I knew I wanted to get truckloads of books, so basically I can't do that in a storage unit. You need a forklift to unload that truck. So that was one of the reasons. I was also running out of space, so I had the storage unit, but I was also doing eBay, and all the stuff was stored in a second room that we had, and I would list out of that room and do shipping, and we were out of space. So I was really turning down like a lot of eBay items because I knew it would take a little longer to sell, or it was like kind of a set that needed to go in like a Home Depot box, and I just didn't want to take up the space because I knew I could find other stuff that would move a little quicker. And I also knew if I did get the space, I could do more business and open me up to other opportunities. So right now, I have a lot of people who are buying DVD and CD duds by the Gaylord or by the pallet. Someone's coming today to buy a pallet of books. That's just not possible what I was used to doing because there was no space to save it. It's really hard right now. The people who pick up my duds are kind of in limbo. They don't have enough help, so they're not coming. If I didn't have pretty much storage to be able to store them until they get back up and running, I'd be in a pretty big jam right now. So that is kind of a recap when I decided to get a warehouse, when you might consider it. Again, when you can afford one, when you're turning down opportunity, and when you want to become more efficient. Again, make sure you can afford the rent, the security deposit, the equipment you're going to need to be more efficient. You don't have to buy it all up front, but again, if you're getting one, you should be ready to do it because without that equipment, tables and stuff, like you aren't going to be efficient. It's going to be like you're working at your garage, but you just have more space that's not being used efficiently. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have a warehouse? Do you want to get a warehouse? Did you find this valuable? What was your biggest takeaway from this? Please leave a comment. I respond to all of them. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.